Hello gorgeous peeps, I'm Chris from TechSpert, and these bad boys here are the Anker Soundcore Liberty 2 Pro True Wireless Earbuds. Bit of a mouthful, Here in the UK you can pick them up for around £140, quite a premium price tag, putting them in direct competition with the likes of the Samsung Galaxy Buds plus the Jabra Elite 75T, some really strong offerings, so for that sort of price they better be good. And you know what, the first impressions are definitely very strong indeed, because you get this sexy sliding case that is very satisfying indeed to open. Trust me, I could just keep on doing this for like 10 minutes solid. Oh yeah. Now the Anker Soundcores can only be picked up in black, unfortunately. There's no rainbow hues available or anything like that, and the first time you yank them on out of the case they do look rather chunky, it has to be said. But the good news is no problems at all as far as comfort goes. You get a range of silicone tips so you can find the exact perfect fit for your ear canals. You've got these rubbery wing bits as well, which just help to hold the buds in there nice and firmly so they don't wriggle around, don't squirm, even if you're running, jogging, doing whatever. But of course, don't just take my word for it. Let's do a mosh test. Yeah, I've got to say they're not particularly comfortable to wear while you're also rocking a beanie or something like that. You definitely get some serious compression into your lug holes there. And I do feel slightly conspicuous when I'm out and about wearing them because, let's face it, they do jut out quite a bit. And unlike many rivals, there's also no dedicated water resistance on here as well, or sweat resistance or anything like that. It seems to be absolutely fine. Touch wood, if they get a little bit moist, it doesn't seem to impact the performance at all. But all the same, if you're going to be regularly jogging, going down the gym, you might want to look at something with a dedicated IPX7 or whatever rating instead. And I've had absolutely no problems with pairing up with a smartphone or anything like that either. It's literally just a case of slide open the case. First time when you pair them, it'll immediately pair in the Bluetooth menu. Just select them, job done, and every time you yank them out the case from there on out, they'll just immediately pair with whatever they were connected with before. If you do ever need to repair, nice and easy. There's a little button on the back of the case there, just give that a bit of a push, and once again they'll enter pairing mode. Oh yeah, that is absolute filth. Love it. And as you'll see, when you actually pull the buds out of the case as well, there's dinky flashing lights just on the edge there, quite subtle, and that just shows you what kind of state they're in. Thankfully, when the buds are actually in use, those lights do go off, so if you're using them at night, you're not disturbing your bed partner or whatever, job done. And I've had absolutely no problems with connectivity here on the Anker Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros either. Wandered around central London for hours at a time, not a single stutter or stammer, even in rather busy areas. Now, pretty much every pair of true wireless earbuds these days comes with built-in controls, and it's the same here on the Liberty 2 Pros. You get a single push button housed on the top edge of these buds. Now, they are very, very tiny indeed. There's not much of a change in texture. They don't jut out much from the surface of the buds. They can be a little bit tricky to find when you're first getting used to the Liberty 2 Pros, but once you've used them for a couple of days, you'll find that it's second nature. You just reach for them, press it exactly the right place to actually activate the button. And the good news is, because they're on the top of the buds as well, not on the sides where typically you do get these buttons or the touch controls, you're not driving the buds into your skull every time you want to pause your track or skip to the next track or whatever, so definitely a lot more comfortable to function. And the fact that it's an actual push button instead of touch controls as well means you're not accidentally activating the controls every time you simply fidget with the bud or take it out of your head, something like that. And the good news is you can fully customize these controls via the Soundcore app, which you can download for free via the Google Play Store or Apple's App Store. So for instance, I've got double tapping the left bud button, taking the volume down a notch, double tap the right bud in order to raise the volume, but you can play around with it. You can have it skipping tracks, going back a track, triggering the voice assistant, all kinds of stuff. My only real minor gripe, and it is a minor gripe at best, is that you can't have it so taking a bud out of your ear hole then automatically pauses your music. Quite handy if you're suddenly having a conversation that you weren't expecting to have, but it is, as I say, a very minor gripe at best. All you need to do is just push a button once and it pauses your music anyway, so job done. Now, there's no dedicated noise cancellation here on the Anker Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros, which is a feature you'll start to see trickling into the true wireless earbud market around that sort of £150 price point. But the noise isolation is pretty good because you've got that tight rubbery silicone fit. It basically forms a seal inside your ear canal, so if you're walking down the high street, traffic noise and stuff, you'll still hear it, but it is definitely reduced quite considerably. You don't have to have your music or your podcast or whatever on top volume in order to hear what's going on. And also the noise bleed is very, very small indeed as well. So again, great if you're using them at night in bed, you've got someone dozing next to you, they won't be disturbed. As for the sound quality, again, I cannot fault the Liberty 2 Pros. They are very strong rivals to the likes of the Jabra Elite 75Ts, which is what I would say is what you want to be aiming for around that £150 price point. In its press release, Soundcore says that it uses a technology called astrocoaxial acoustic architecture, Basically, it's just some very, very smart tech which makes your music sound really bloody good. You get some really nice strong bass coming through, which is great if you listen to a bit of rock, hip hop, whatever, but it definitely does not drown out the rest of the range. Those mids and the highs come through really nicely as well. And if you dive into the equalizer section on that Soundcore app, you can actually set up your own personal ear profile. And this one right here is mine. This basically just tests the ability of your left and your right ear to hear tones of different frequencies, and then it adapts the sound output depending on those responses. Personally, I wasn't a massive fan, I've got to say. The music sounded a little bit tinny, it sort of lost some of its weight, some of its oomph with that profile activated, because people are going to have different responses, different results using that feature. So personally, take it or leave it, but it's a nice to have, I guess. Now you also get a pair of mics built into each of these true wireless earbuds as well, one pointing towards your mouth hole and the other one pointing in the opposite direction. And that way you can have to clearly pick up your voice when you're speaking, while also cutting out some of that background jogging nonsense. And I found that on calls absolutely did a bang up job as well. So for instance, yesterday I was in a very, very busy Tesco's. There were people running around shrieking like fucking idiots all around me, doing all their panic buying of bog roll and such forth. And I could still have a nice little chat with my wife and say, hey, which cake mix do you want me to buy, this one or this one? And the good times continue with the battery life as well. I found I actually got pretty damn close to the advertised 8 hours of use per charge here on the Liberty 2 Pros. No worries, so you can use them over a long haul flight, use them all day in the office, no problem. And when it is time to recharge, of course, you just go slidey and just stick them back in their little case. I find the case generally recharges them about 3 full times before it itself also needs a recharge, which is of course via good old Type-C USB via the little flappy bit on the back there. And it also supports Qi wireless charging as well. So for instance, if you've got a Huawei or a Samsung flagship phone which supports that reverse wireless charging, you just slap them on the back of there and get them powered up again. And that right there in a nutshell is the Anker Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros. Guess how many times I ballsed up that name during the course of this review? I certainly have lost count. But definitely a great pair of true wireless earbuds. Obviously not the cheapest around at 140 quid, but they are definitely solid rivals to the likes of the Jabra Elite 75Ts, which are one of my favourites around that £150 price point. Great performance, great battery life, and of course that very sexy case design. So the slightly bulky build of the buds themselves, which is a bit of a shame, and of course the lack of sweat and water resistance. So are you tempted by the Anker Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros? Definitely bang your thoughts down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Check out my other reviews of the other true wireless earbuds that I really love out there. If you're looking for something a bit more affordable, check out the Creative Outlay Gold, still one of my absolute favourites. And probably the best ones out there right now are the Powerbeats Pro, but they're like 250 quid, so that's a bit freaking insane. Don't forget to poke, subscribe, ding that notifications bell, and have yourselves a lovely week. Cheers, love you!